Hello everyone, and welcome to the Beam Sizer. The goal of this project is for home builders and civil engineers to use this project to help size beams and then generate an invoice based upon an estimated cost for the beams of the home.
To start off, click on the Beams page and select Start New Project. Press OK and enter the project name and address. You'll then be asked to select the number of beams you want, the span of the beam, the roof tributary, the floor tributary, and the point load. Check the box if the beam will be used in an outdoor setting and press OK.
By clicking on the Add New Beam button, it brings up this user form, and when the user types in the information, the goal of the code is that it will run through a list of all the beams on the reference sheet. And so after hitting OK on the user form, the code will loop through each beam here on this list until it finds a beam that will match the required deflection limits as well as the shear stress and bending stress limits. Usually these limits can be found based upon the certain length of the beam and the material, and also the International Building Code has certain codes for each span. And so when the user comes to this page and they click on, or they enter in these information for the certain beam, the code will run through that. And then by checking the beam is outdoor, the code will start running through with the glue lam beams. Usually micro lam and lumber beams don't do so well in the weather. They warp easily, so home builders like to use the glue lam beams outdoors. So it will start the code there instead of earlier. And then when the user clicks on this, they can choose custom loadings. So let's say you live in an area where there's maybe more snow than usual. You could up this number to 40 or 50 or whatever it might be based upon the local building code. And then the code will use those loadings to run through to generate the correct beam.
If you're not satisfied with one of your beam selections, you can come over here and select that Delete Beam button. This will bring up a table that shows all of the beams currently listed in the project. By selecting one of the beams and pressing OK, that whole row will then be deleted. As you can see, the beam numbers will rename itself so that the beams will be consecutive. Once you're satisfied with your table and all the beams you've selected, you can select the Generate Invoice button. This will generate all the information onto the invoice page. It will list all of the qualities you've selected, including the page name, the page address, and all the beams. The cost will then be generated as a multiple of the quantity, the span, and the total cost per foot. In addition, at the bottom of the invoice, you will see the total number of beams selected, as well as the total cost of the project.